In a sermon I preached a couple of weeks ago, I made what was for some a provocative statement about Adam. I said his name in Hebrew almost literally means mudman. That's because his name in Hebrew is a play on the Hebrew word for dirt or dust, Adamah. For as the story goes in Genesis 2, God formed him from the dust of the ground and breathed life into his lungs. Now we can debate whether this is a literal account of how human beings were made or a symbolic account, but the deeper truth of the story remains the same either way. We human beings are destructible, impermanent, subject to decay. In Paul's discussion of the resurrection in 1 Corinthians 15, he reminds us that the body that we now inhabit is by definition not the body that is to come. Hello, I'm Stuart Baskin, pastor of First Presbyterian Church of Tyler, Texas, and this is your daily devotional for Tuesday, October 19th, 2021. Last week I pointed out how Paul contrasts Adam and Jesus. As fallible human beings, we are all sons and daughters of Adam, if not by actual family lineage, then by the simple fact that we are human. To be a child of Adam means that, like Adam, the proto-human, we are composed of stuff, dust, material things. Modern science has given us, modern people, if anything, a greater appreciation for this fact than any other generation in human history. Literally all the material out of which our world is composed was formed in the stars. The building blocks of all matter are simply atoms of different elements. And we know that we are composed of the very same atoms that can be found in the earth beneath our feet. We are literally Adamah, mud people. Now, a more poetic way of putting this that conveys the same truth is that we are composed of stardust. But whether you prefer mud or stardust, the fact remains the same. We are composed of material things, and when we die, our bodies decompose into their constituent parts, atoms, and are literally recycled. Now, if that's all there were, that would be the end of things. And indeed, many people do believe that when we die, there is no further life of any sort. No brain, no mind, no consciousness. Just a decay back to the dust from whence we came. But Paul insists there is more. Only it's not material existence he talks about, in spite of his metaphorical use of seeds and plants to describe our current and our resurrection bodies. What he says, taken in its most literal sense, is nonsensical, but it's the only way he can describe what is literally indescribable, a spiritual body. This is what we have to look forward to. He says, what is sown is perishable. What is raised is imperishable. It is sown in dishonor, it is raised in glory. It is sown in weakness, it is raised in power. It is sown a physical body, it is raised a spiritual body. If there is a physical body, there is also a spiritual body. Thus it is written, the first man, Adam, became a living being. The last Adam became a life-giving spirit. But it is not the spiritual that is first, but the physical, and then the spiritual. The first man was from the earth, a man of dust. The second man, Jesus, is from heaven. And as was the man of dust, so are those who are of dust. And as is the man of heaven, so are those who are of heaven. Just as we have borne the image of the man of dust, we will also bear the image of the man of heaven. The difference is between Adam and Christ. Adam, the material man, Christ, the spiritual man. Adam, the destructible, Christ, the indestructible. Adam, the man of dust, Christ, the man of heaven. You can plainly see that Paul does his best to explain what is unimaginable, to describe the indescribable. To compare the mortal body to a seed and the resurrection body to the plant that grows from the seed breaks down if we try to take it too literally. For the resurrection body is not a body in the same sense as a physical body. The problem is, we just have no other way to talk about it, no other frame of reference to understand it. We reach the very outer limits of human understanding. But that's the great thing, isn't it? Because it is outside of our frame of reference, makes it all the more beautiful to consider. So what does the resurrection body look like? I don't have the first clue. I don't even have the words to describe it. But just because we have no words to describe it doesn't render it untrue. It simply means that the truth is greater than our ability to comprehend. And that's enough for me. When we come back tomorrow, we'll finish out Paul's discussion of the resurrection with one of Paul's favorite words, one that when we read it, we finally get to the crux of Paul's thought. It is the word, therefore. But for now, may God continue to bless you and keep you in all that you do, this day and in all the days ahead.